Hi, everybody. All right, so I wanted to visit the Turkish coup issue because we saw that a couple days ago, and I've been busy with the basement, among other things, and I really wanted to run this on the day it was happening, but I found out more information the last 2 days, so that's why I waited till the aftermath, and plus it really didn't lead to anything that I can tell at the moment. We all heard how tanks surrounded the parliament building in Turkey. Erdogan basically said it was a CIA attempted coup and orchestrated or inspired by CIA. John Kerry basically said that Erdogan had orchestrated it, but didn't even mention to say no, CIA was not behind it, best of my knowledge. Oddly enough, at the same time everything was going on, a NATO base in Turkey had its power cut, and basically 80 U.S. missiles were technically sabotaged, so they couldn't launch. These were supposedly nuclear missiles. It's my understanding Turkey was getting ready to basically launch them, or had some kind of a plan in the background that if they had ever reached a point where they were in a coup, they would basically nuke their own or nuke the supposed group doing it. And this is what I'm basically getting at, is that, and you can find these stories just about anywhere, but you know how different news articles aren't going to say certain things. But Drudge Report, Turkish president recap, Erdogan accused of arranging coup himself, from Daily Mail. Not the greatest. I really don't have to make this one larger, but Kerry blasts Turkey for insinuating that Washington plotted coup against Erdogan. And here's the meat and potatoes, what it was probably all about. Some kind of missile deal gone bad. Breaking, access blocked, and power cut to Turkish base holding 80 U.S. nukes during a military coup. NATO's Incirlik Air Base, which houses as many as 80 nuclear bombs, or missiles for that matter, has been locked down, power shut off as military resistance continues. So there was a lot going on here, folks, than just you know, him basically inspiring this or other groups. There were a few different people that had their own agendas here, and I don't know really what to tell you, because you and I weren't on the ground, and more than likely those on the ground would know, you get the idea. They wouldn't tell you what was going on, even if you were right there watching it happen. So this is what's really going on in the real world, folks. My view, well, CIA has attempted coups since its very founding. So the idea that they would have any reason to orchestrate one in Turkey of all places is, any number of ideas and reasons you can guess at. Do I believe they were alone? Could Israel help? Obviously. UK probably, everybody probably had an agenda to get Erdogan out. But why flip the administration? I don't know. But we all know all the things going on in that region, so it's any number of 100 to 1,000 reasons probably as to why this person, had an attempted coup against him. So this is where I'm getting at. I'll list the sources. You guys can go through them. But the missile one I just found about a day ago, and I kind of figured that, CIA was at least somewhat inspired or orchestrated, and John Kerry basically said Erdogan basically orchestrated it, and looks like they shut down a bunch of nukes and a NATO base while this was going on. So again, lots of different players, lots of different agendas, any number of reasons, could have set any number of things off. And we can read the official headlines and listen to everybody's side, but it could have been a missile deal gone bad, could have been, some secret extradition that went bad, could have been any number of things in anybody's camp, and somebody said, all right, that's it, we've had enough. And that would be that. So I find it kind of weird that CIA would inspire or orchestrate in Turkey, being that Turkey, at least somewhat, is a NATO ally. So I'm wondering if it wasn't a NATO-related coup. Here's my reasoning. Because remember, they were getting very friendly with Russia. So that's my guesstimate. Thanks.